I thought when John said he was out, I thought we were canceling.
So did I. I'm so tired right now.
No canceling.
We gotta chug on.
So I surprise myself every week how I'm either in the mood for the show or completely not in the mood.
Yeah.
And I was mentally prepared for the show today, so there's no canceling. Welcome to another episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. It's Sunday night, and it's time for a new toy collector topic. Thanks very much for checking us out, either on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment below. Let us know your feedback about this topic. Let us know if you have a topic idea for us that you'd like us to cover in an episode soon. And you can also support the show. If you like what we're doing, check out our Patreon. You could go there with the link in the description below and join and become a patron yourself. You'll get so many benefits, including 5 Idiots After Dark, which is not online anywhere other than Patreon. It's rated double X. It's not triple X, but it's very, very double X. So check that out. First, we're going to bring in not John. We're not going to bring John in. We're going to bring in Rodrigo. Rodrigo is here. I mean, Charles.
Rodrigo.
Forgot your name for a second. What is this look that we have? There we go. Now we're
there. You go.
Yeah. So how you doing?
Awesome. Glad to be here.
What are you eating over there? English. What are they called? English breakfast chips, or?
I actually said it wrong last time.
Oh.
I think I call it like Johnny's, or I forget what I called it, but it's Justin's.
If you had said Justin's, I think I would have known what that was. I've seen that before, but
very good.
Honey. Have you done a taste test like side by side, like honey, non-honey?
Yes, I have both of them.
So, and like you could really taste the difference. Yeah, I love
way better.
I love peanut butter. Oh my favorite ice cream is vanilla peanut butter ice cream.
Is it?
Oh, I love it. And I love that Reese's sauce, that peanut butter sauce you could drip on there.
So good.
So bad for you, I'm sure. Once in a while. Brandon is here. Brandon, what kind of sauce do you like on your ice cream?
Oh, Rodrigo's sauce. Hola, Rodrigo. How are you, Rodrigo? Are you done cutting Chris's hair?
No, he's bean sacks. We know that.
I thought I would update everybody with a quick announcement. Breaking news. You only heard it here.
Oh, spicy.
It is 9:36 East Coast time, and one John Walden is now leaving the job site on 2 tires, tearing it up. coming on us hot.
Coming in hot.
Coming on us hot on 2 tires.
All right. Well, also coming in hot is Christopher W.
Coming in on 2 wheels right now.
He's coming in hot.
Jesus.
Chris is coming in on 1 wheel.
Does he think that he's going to make it home to get onto this episode?
Yeah, he's trying for it.
It's pitch black out there, and he's just now leaving the job site. I can only imagine. And they don't have lights in these places that he works.
And now he has
tires too.
He has to go to Del Taco first for a 59-cent taco.
Yeah, 59.
Oh, he doesn't eat that. He only eats ho-hos and energy drinks. That's it.
Oh, he loves those 59-cent tacos. You don't believe it.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
If you went to a place and a place was charging 59-cent tacos, would you even eat that taco? Because it's guaranteed to be terrible. If it's
wait. What time? When in the day is that?
There's a new show. It's called On Call. I think the second episode or first one. It's a cop show. They stop a guy for like he's smoking crack or something, and they ask the guy, "Where are you coming from?" And he says, "Del Taco."
There's your answer.
Exactly.
John's getting all of his meals from the crack house down the street.
Well, I'm saying
so. There's your answer.
Because no one's going to eat that for like dinner. But if you're after the bar at 1 a.m, you're eating Del Taco.
Oh yeah.
But the point of the whole point of the question was it's 59 cents. I'm going to eat a taco too after the bar, but I'm not going to eat a 59-cent taco.
He went there for Valentine's Day.
Well, you can still eat
they have
a Del
tacos
Taco.
in the shape of a heart that day.
You can still eat a Del Taco, but the average cost of the taco has to be above 99 cents.
I don't
minimum.
I don't eat taco. I mean,
maybe
I don't even think once a year I have Taco Bell, but maybe if you say like once, because it's not close to my house, it's like 30 minutes away.
Chris has Taco Bell every Wednesday.
I know, but like the last time I've had it, I'm like, what the fuck? What did I eat?
I thought you were going to say tacos in general, and I was
I love tacos.
We have it once or twice a week. We have a taco place right by our house that's in town. But like, if you get one regular like soft taco, whether it's chicken, steak, or ground beef, it's $3 or $4 per taco.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah, we have a pretty good burrito place, which is like a very small regional chain. Like,
that's what we have.
There's like 3 of them around this area, and they do burritos and bowls and tacos, and they're super good. And they're pretty reasonable. It's like, it's fast. It's fast. It's like Chipotle. It's like, fast food, but oh my, Taco Bell. Last time I had it, I was like, what did I just eat?
I mean, I've honestly eaten Taco Bell twice in the last 6 months, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you for a while your stomach was
that actually sounds pretty good.
Hang on.
I might get it tonight, actually.
Yeah.
I actually got it. I actually found the exact clip and everything. Hang on.
Oh, hold on. Let's get you big screen. Hold on.
Yeah, come on. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
What? Service.
Oh, it's so dramatic.
Yeah.
License and registration, please. Where are you coming from? Del Taco.
And he gets arrested for having a crack pipe.
Did you see in the background Casa de Laundry?
Is this? I thought it was like a reality show. This is obviously
no.
That was
actually really good. It's actually a really good show. As they switch from the camera to the body camera to
Del
like
Taco.
stuff like that. It's so. Once I saw the kid, and he said he's coming from Del Taco, and he gets arrested for having a crack pipe.
Were you just dying laughing?
Oh,
hysterical!
I was laughing so hard.
Oh my god! Well, I don't even think I could share this. I wanted to share this, but it's like John just sent a picture. You pull up your messenger, show the picture on your phone, because I'm using my phone as a webcam, but he's giving us an update.
He's coming in on 2 tires.
This is Walden right now, barreling down the highway in full traffic.
Typical Walden.
Good God!
What's on his desk?
Wait, is that the Del Taco? That's
the little piece of dust in the side. That's where it is.
Is he on the wrong side of the road?
He's got a disposable spoon.
Is he on the wrong side of the road?
He's in the middle. He's in the middle.
Why does he have a disposable spoon stuck
gosh.
in his windshield there?
I don't know. All right, so let's jump into this topic. The topic is toy conventions, and we go to the IC, which is a large toy convention, and there's a lot of other stuff going on. There's guests from various sci-fi and Star Wars and stuff, but a toy convention could be just your local show, which is at a VFW or like a PAL building, like a local organization has building, and they then they come in and rent that, and they set up tables and stuff. So there's all sorts of toy shows. There's toy shows at hotels and banquet halls and things like that. So we're going to talk about going to the toy shows. Brandon, you've been to a lot more than I think the rest of us combined.
Sorry.
And
correct.
Oh, 100%.
Just to start off first, the question we'll kick it off with is how far would each of us travel for a toy convention? And of course, if you're meeting up with some friends or something, that's a little bit of a different thing. But let's say you're at home, you hear of a toy convention the next day. How far are you driving to kind of make a day out of it?
On my own?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you bring your son with you or something.
Oh, like locally within an hour.
Okay,
that's how far I would go with my son. If I'm going to go by myself, I wouldn't even go. I don't care if it's around the block. I wouldn't go.
I think I said to Charles one time, I'm like, there's this regular toy show in New Jersey. He's like, outside of New York? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, God. There is zero chance of me coming to that. Brandon, you should go last because you travel. You're willing to travel.
He'll go anywhere.
He parachutes out of helicopters to go to.
Just like a toy show.
Chris, how far are you going? I mean, I know that you guys maybe don't, seek out toy shows, but if you could do something for a day, you had nothing else going on, you're going to bring your son or a friend or something.
I feel like we just live in one of those areas where there's not toy shows. It's just terrible around here. But like, yeah, if I didn't have kids, I would drive hours. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But the fact that I actually have kids and I can drive to the corner and get to the red light, and my wife will call me 3 times already, I might go maybe 10 minutes away.
I have a local show that I haven't been to now in a while. It's probably been like 2 years, but I have I think I have 2 shows that happen to be like in the same place. Like there's one promotion company that does like New Jersey Toy Con, and I think it's like 2 or 3 times a year. And then there's a more local organization that does it in the same place on a smaller scale, like monthly.
Yeah, that's the one where you bought the fake pop-up saber. Yes.
There's one that does it like the first Saturday or Sunday of every month. And then there's one that does it like 2 or 3 times a year. And then they'll have people signing, and they're very, low-level celebrities. They're like, if you saw their names, you'd be like, who is that? Like, what are they in? But
do you take your kids if you go?
I have taken my daughter twice, and I haven't been in like 2 years now, so my son wouldn't have been old enough the last time I went. But you know how it is if you bring a kid, though, because if there is anything you're interested in, if there's any vintage stuff, no matter what it is, just stuff that you want to see in person, Transformers, Turtles, whatever, it's really hard to make your way around and actually look at stuff because it's crowded. You've got a child with you that you're nervous about keeping track of them. So it is definitely a different experience. I mean, I go about it with the mindset like I'm going and I'm bringing a child and I know what it's going to be, or I'll go by myself, and as long as my wife will let me, I'll be there for 4 hours. So that's only like 30 minutes away. I would travel. I mean, I'll say that I would travel, an hour and a half, but I've had those opportunities. There are shows, in Pennsylvania or in New York State or South Jersey, and I haven't traveled, so I haven't cared enough to do it, but I would.
Charles and I will drive 16 hours to Nashville and stay there for 4 days, and my wife will call me once per day. She'll be very good. She won't bother me.
Yeah.
But if I go literally to a flea market at a train station down the block, I will get 17 phone calls asking me, where am I? What time am I coming home? What are you doing? What's taking so long?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's mind-boggling.
I have the complete opposite. Like I'll be like, I'll say I'm going to Home Depot, and the next thing I know is I've been gone for like 4 hours because I stopped somewhere else, and I'm in Home Depot for like 90 minutes.
Not surprised.
And I start to get nervous. Like my wife hasn't called me once. Like I hope, I'm sure she's fine, but like she doesn't even.
She's probably happy that you're gone.
She's not looking for me. But
no one understands.
Like, oh my God, it's so quiet in the house right now.
No one understands this, but I can explain it as this. Shane orders like 2 eggs over easy. By the time he's done eating it, they're scrambled eggs.
Over medium.
Like they're not even over easy anymore. They're already scrambled. Like it takes you forever.
Charles doesn't even have them cook the eggs. He brings them out raw, and he just starts throwing them into a glass, downing them. Raw bacon.
Did you see what Rocky looks like?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, he used to throw those eggs back. Right. So, Brandon, tell us about, give us a couple of examples of how far you've traveled. I know you're all over California.
With kids, the max, an hour and a half. I think the max probably from here to Anaheim is what I've done. To go to WonderCon or like Star Wars Celebration when it was up in Anaheim. So that's the max I'll do is an hour and a half. Without kids, I mean, I'll travel far. I usually try to keep it, if I'm by myself, within 3-hour radius, I'd say. Or else that driving, I'll just do that, but I won't go driving any more than 3 hours away. Now, if there's another con somewhere, like, I'll fly there for a couple days, but like Nashville, but I just can't see driving any longer than 3+ hours usually is what I've seen. Now
I mean, yeah, that's
I'll go
like
to
Vegas.
Vegas, because it's 3 hours one way and 3 hours back, so that's 6 hours. It's a lot,
rough.
And then 2 hours there, probably.
Yeah, so I won't go any more than that if it's just me. If it is, I'll just fly there. Like if Vegas has had a couple toy shows that I have not gone to, but I'll usually try to parlay those into I'll stay in Vegas for a couple days and do other things.
We should do one. We should do a toy show in Vegas.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, with kids, the max I can do is about an hour and a half. And then just like me, I'll get, when I go to, Nashville, I won't get any phone calls.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's like I don't exist. It's great. Maybe one call, like it's like Chris, like, hey, you still alive? How's it going? Or whatever. But like local, I can't. I mean, if I go to one down the street, we have small toy shows that are all over San Diego, quite often. And it's just like, where are you? How much longer is this going to take? Or when I go to the flea market on the weekend, it's like, when are you coming home? I'm going to make breakfast. Everybody's awake. What are we doing?
Brandon's at the flea market at 5 a.m. and the trucks don't even have their back doors open already and he's out there before breakfast.
Yeah, I got to get that's where you get all the good stuff.
My wife gets mad at me now because I won't even answer her calls anymore or respond to her messages. And she's like,
for you.
She's like, you're on your phone all day. She goes, and you will never respond to me. I'm like, Lisa, you told me you were going to the store and you're sitting in the driveway in the car, yet you're calling me. You just left 13 seconds ago. It's not important. Like, it's not important.
I'll get the message, and then a minute later, I get the hello.
Yeah.
Hello. And I'm like, and I look at the timestamp. I was like, it was literally, you didn't give me a minute to even look at it.
All right, so you're at the toy convention, and obviously some are, the smaller ones are much more focused on toys. The guys are true vendors. They're guys who go around to these toy shows. They go to flea markets. Mm-hmm. And then some of the bigger shows, you're going to have more of a con experience. Brandon, where do you stand with cosplay? Do you usually dress up?
False. No, the biggest, I have San Diego Comic-Con, supposedly the biggest convention in the world, just down the street from me. So I get enough cosplay people walking around. Some of the best cosplay you'll ever see over there.
I was going to say, is it enjoyable as a attendee, or is it? Overboard?
No, there's some really good stuff that you'll never see anywhere else. People just go overboard with it, and it's great, for people watching and taking pictures and stuff. Everybody there does like an awesome job with it. You'll never see somebody with like a janky outfit or anything like that. It's all like really good stuff.
I've seen
sometimes
some
it
of
becomes
this
an issue because people are like around, they want to take pictures, and it kind of creates a because it's so crowded there anyway. But yeah, usually it's not that big of a deal. It's really cool to see some of that stuff.
It's very cool when you see the guy with the hawk with the hawk wings, and he's trying to pee inside a freaking urinal, and he can't fit, so he's expanding 3 people down. That's the best part.
He's whacking you with the wingtips.
Yeah.
As you're next to him trying to pee.
Well, I was going to say that I've seen a couple of instances of people selling cosplay costumes or parts of costumes online. I don't even know how I came across these, but I've seen that, and then I stop and I look at the price, and I'm like, this can't be right. And now I realize there are serious cosplayers who put a lot of work and time into their costumes, and there's people walking around these big conventions with like $5,000-$6,000 costumes on.
Shane, there's booths at Comic-Con here where they will touch up your makeup, or they will do your makeup, or they will fix your costumes. They will.
Wow.
You can buy props for your costumes. It's a huge market.
Yeah.
Huge market.
So
Yeah.
I recently bought a collection, and there was a Obi-Wan cosplay outfit, like the robe, the inside like
Please
jacket
wear that
thing.
for the next episode.
It had a
Please.
saber, and it had like a belt and all this stuff. And then there was a stormtrooper one, and they both came on mannequins. So while I was outside, like opening up the pods and cleaning everything out, I literally took both of them straight to the curb outside.
Oh,
I threw them out immediately. They were not coming in my house. I don't want those things anywhere near me, my kids, my family, the walls, nothing. That thing is going right to the curb. Shane, I put this thing on the curb, the Obi-Wan. By the time I went back to pick up Stormtrooper, a car had stopped to pick up Obi-Wan already. And that is
did they ask you if it was like for
that
free?
is not an exaggeration whatsoever. The guy was picking up in the back. He goes, "Are you throwing this away?" And I said, "Yeah." And I go, "You want Stormtrooper? Because I'm getting it right now." He's like, "Yeah, I love these." I said, "Hold on." And I literally went and got the Stormtrooper. And I said, "Here's the saber. Take the saber too. I don't want it. Get it out of here." Garbage.
You're
All
crazy.
the garbage.
Was it janky, or was it like legit costume?
These were older and a little.
These were like Halloween costumes.
I just like knowing that somebody's,
Junk was inside of it.
Package was
sweaty armpits
all up. It was just like kind of, to me, it was kind of gross.
Yeah.
I don't like, other people's wearing other people's stuff.
No, not my thing.
No,
I don't mind seeing hot girls walking around in costumes.
Yeah,
that's always great. But for the most part, cosplay.
This stuff you would have tell at the convention, like, oh, that's a little older stuff or whatever. It just needed to be cleaned up and repainted and stuff. I think would look a little better.
Well, I mean, I've never been. I mean, besides the Nashville convention, which cosplay is, I'm assuming is kind of like middle of the road. Like, there's some people with good costumes, and there's some people that are just dressing up, for fun. Like, it's not a super serious costume. But I've seen plenty of pictures of cosplay, cosplayers at conventions online, and oh my God, I mean, there's whatever you want to call them, influencers or like Instagram models or whatever you want to call them. There's girls that are into cosplay, and they're super attractive to start with, and they're in every different costume every week. And you're like, could you imagine just a couple of dozen of these girls walking around in these costumes? I mean, it's nuts. I mean, I haven't seen that in person. I'm sure Brandon's seen them at Comic-Con, but
Leia Slave Girl, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, so I'd be interested to just kind of check out, the real cosplayers at some point and see what it's like. But
can we do an episode of what would the typical toy collector react to seeing a girl in a slave?
Oh my God!
Well, we were supposed to do. I think it was going to be a Patreon video of just when they make like Leia into this like rated XXX photo.
Oh,
okay.
Which is like, yes, that's right.
We're supposed to do that episode.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
we got to do that one still.
Well, remember we did we ever do that comic book cover one, or did we just can that whole thing?
We didn't do it at all.
It was.
No, I thought we did it, but we just deleted it and never added it.
I think we did it and deleted it. We needed to do like 5 of them, and we went through like 20 of them, and then we were all creeped out, and we just said, just delete this.
It was too
far.
It was
too far. I mean, it was just not safe for work comic book covers.
No, we were all fine with it. Shane was. I don't know.
I remember Shane loving it.
Well, I thought it was hilarious that
you were a little over the top.
All the pictures that I brought to you were from Whatnot, a live auction on Whatnot. And so I just screenshot. I was watching this guy, and he was as normal, talking about it as normal as he could be.
Shane's over here like bidding on them and stuff.
No, but I was like live chatting you guys, like, look what he just put up, and it was one after the other.
If we do an after dark on this topic, I'll share some photos of some stuff that I've seen at some of these cons that is a little overboard.
Yeah.
We got doing.
All right, so let's talk about another area or two of these toy cons. What do you think about? What have you seen in person with vendors? Brandon, you could speak to this the most. Do you kind of know what you're walking up to when you see a table when you first approach? Do you get a good feeling right away? Do you have to dig through some stuff to find out if this guy has anything good? Like, what has your experience been with the actual toy vendors?
I mean,
prices and things like that.
Usually, it's a lot to unpack here because usually you walk in and you can tell immediately if there's pops.
Yeah,
like I skip it.
Right.
If there's, see, I think you got 3 different types of vendors. You have pops vendors, you have Ross resellers, which will just buy all the leftover stock from Ross and Kohl's or whatever and try to flip it, which you don't really typically see that too much at like bigger name conventions because it's so expensive that, I mean, to get a table at Comic-Con is like $3 or $4 grand. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, this is cheap modern stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, and to resell cheap modern stuff that you would see at some of these like, other stores, like I don't see people doing that, but I usually avoid like the pops tables. But then if you get like, you'll see some people have, just some of what catches your eye is the stuff that you saw as a kid, like the 80s and 90s. Like if you see some of the Kenner mocks, I'm not even talking about Star Wars, but like Batman and just some of the other 90s type stuff that's out there, you'll see that, and that'll kind of lead you into the vendor's booth where they might have like loose stuff and baggies and just other stuff in there, and that's typically what you'll find is stuff like that. Very rarely do you find somebody who has all vintage stuff.
Right.
Only a couple vendors like that usually have all the vintage stuff there, and you can tell them from a mile away just looking at like, oh, you'll see like an A-wing or a Sandcrawler or something like that, and those are obvious things. But usually it's somebody who's selling modern stuff, vintage collection, or a lot of the Black Series figures, that kind of stuff in pops. But nowadays it's really hard to find people who are just selling all vintage. It's just very few and far between.
At the shows that I've been to in this area, vintage is hard to find. I have been to a couple of shows where there was a significant, like 2 or 3 vendors who had quite a bit of vintage. And I do remember one guy, somehow I was, I don't know, chatting with somebody that was kind of like next to me. And they were like, oh, you know who this is, right? And it would talk about the vendor. And I'm like, no, I don't know who it is. And they started talking about him like he was like this famous vendor of vintage Star Wars. And I was like, kind of like looking at this guy telling me, I'm like, are you being serious right now? Like he's that well known of a vendor. And he had all these. No. It was an older guy, but I guess he's kind of like been on the circuit for years and like 30 years. Like whatever the toy vendor circuit is, like these guys travel. I mean, they travel several states away.
Oh yeah. A lot of these guys are doing states and states.
Like this guy's doing toy shows every single weekend, like most of the year.
Did this guy did he have crazy hair?
He didn't. I don't know that he had crazy hair, but he was like an older
they all have
Asian guy.
They all do.
But anyway, he had a bunch of mocks. He had a bunch of graded figures, actually. And I don't normally see that stuff at this local show. And I just remember, this is like maybe 2.5 years ago, the prices were, I mean, this was probably at the height of COVID prices, and the prices were beyond anything I had seen anywhere else. Like I remember standing there going, this guy is not looking to sell anything. Like he's hoping that somebody stupidly pays for something.
I'm glad that you brought up prices. I wanted to expand on this before when Brandon was talking. This is one of the things that I'll freely admit that I completely did wrong at my first toy sale. It was my first experience. I didn't really know this, but like when you go to a toy show, for the most part, whatever the asking price is, people do not pay the asking price. They automatically assume it's overpriced and they try and get a better deal. So if it's $50, they say, I'll give you 30. If it's $40, I'll give you 20, and so on and so on. And I get that and whatever. We came into the show pricing it as we do on the sales page, which is usually below market value. Like if something is 400, we're like at that 375 sweet spot where we know it's like a quick instant sell. Everyone else was coming in hot at 450, 500, like John Walden on Two Wheels. But we're coming in at 375. What I found was that everyone's still making offers.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, oh, 325, 350, 300. And it was happening all weekend long. And honestly, it was really annoying because I felt like we honestly, at least myself, had stuff priced very fairly. So if I was to ever do it again, will be overpricing and everybody just like everyone else.
Well, I mean, that's the show price, right? So everybody knows that there's show prices. And usually the vendor, is willing to come down on certain things because they know that they have to up the price a little bit just to cover the cost of the show,
But it's also it lends itself to that flea market feel of bartering that you're also upping the price for that reason too. Covering the cost, but people are looking to wheel and deal all day.
Yeah, a buddy of mine that sells at the flea market regularly, and he does a bunch of shows. He'll ask me a couple questions like, hey, what do you think about this price? And I was like, dude, you might want to ask more, man, because they're going to talk you down. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. And they do. People will talk him down all day long, and he'll sit there and and so you got to price it a little higher when you're at the show, knowing that people are going to do that.
Yeah,
half the time, a lot of the vendors won't even. They'll price it down for you. Like it'll be a $400 model.
Oh yeah,
like,
hey,
it's 400. I'm like, hey man, how much is that? $400. But you know what, man? 350. 350 for you, whatever. And I'm like, oh
yeah. Okay, I got 350 on it, but I could do I could do something for you if you're interested.
I just don't.
I could do 315.
I don't see the point in doing that. Me personally, I just find that all stupid. It's like a big game of hot potato. It's like cat and mouse game. That's why we came in, we kind of priced it under, and I found that every single person was still doing it, and I'm just like, why am I even bothering to try and give a deal at 350? Let me just charge 450 like everybody else.
It's funny that you're saying this now because I didn't know you were struggling with that because I was down at the end of the table, and
and every single person was trying to wheel and deal.
I think it's
they made a stack of 5 or 6.
Yes,
and they're like,
yep.
What would you sell me these 5 or 6 for?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Chris is adding it up.
Deal.
I was doing the same thing. I was adding it up and I was taking $100 off.
Right. So there's two ways you could look at it. One, a lot of people are looking to barter. I like bartering. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to try to wheel and deal at, garage sales and stuff like that.
I feel like there's a time and a place to do it, like the last day of a show. Don't be doing it on a Friday night or a Saturday when it's opened up for an hour and you pick up 6 of my items and that they're legitimately priced right or a little bit lower. I said no to everybody, and my reasoning was I can literally go home, list it on our sales page, and get the price I want. Why would I drive 16 hours to sell less? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, the other way you could look at it is I'm sure there were people that came and looked at stuff. I know there's a lot of knowledgeable collectors, but I'm sure there were people that came and looked at your stuff, and there were things that they legitimately didn't know exactly what the price was. So, they're doing their little bartering thing or whatever. They're not knowing that your 350 item is really priced well. So they're like, hey, I'll give you 300. And then what happens is I could surmise just from listening to you now, everybody that you said no to is like, man, this guy's he won't even take $10 off.
Shane, I'm a no barter kind of guy. I don't barter with anybody. Don't barter with me.
You were at the wrong end of the table. You should have had Brandon or I telling you hey, you got to wheel and deal over here.
I'm a no. Well, then, and what I'm saying is that next time I will be doing that, but I will be raising every price $50, $100, like every other freaking booth in that place.
Well, literally add 20% on and then take 20% off.
So that when I come down, I'm coming back down to the realistic price that I want anyway.
That's what
you got to know that there's people that in the beginning of a show, it's really tough to get the price down, because
Of course.
If a 3-day show, or usually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, like at the end by Sunday, I think they're willing to come down on the price. But usually, some of these hotter items aren't even going to be there by Sunday. So,
right.
I mean, I usually don't.
I get
like on a Friday, like
I get Sunday.
If I come in VIP or early bird or whatever, like I'm probably paying the price that's listed, or maybe slightly under if I buy a bunch of stuff. But you know, if the show is slow, like if I see that the show is very slow and the stuff isn't moving or whatever, you can probably get a better deal on some stuff. But if it's Friday, early bird special, and you're in there, you got to get it while it's hot, because if not, that ain't gonna last till Sunday. Because people will overpay for certain stuff.
And if you are going to try to barter as a buyer, you should know automatically that, let's say the item is $120. If you can get him to take $5 or $10 off, it's a win. Like, don't expect him to take $25 off on a Friday. I
would just
first day.
I mean, the only way I would really feel comfortable doing that with another vendor is if I buy multiple items, and then get like, hey, I just bought 5 mocks off you for $1,100. Hey, what about these 5? I could do 1,000 for you. And I'm like, all right, you get $100 off. And then
but it doesn't hurt
for one mock for $200 and you want 150. Like, no, man, you're gonna.
People just have the bartering personality. That's just how they are. So even if something costs 150 and you're selling it for 100, that guy still can't pay $100 for it. He needs to. It's like a tick in his brain where he needs to go $95. Like, what's the difference between 95 and 100 at that point?
Mm-hmm.
You know it's 150. You're already getting it $50 less. Pay the man his money. Like Rounders.
You're really describing me, Chris, because I'll go to eBay and let's say I'm looking for like a specific, wrestler or something for my son. I'll go and find the cheapest version of it. Like, brand new, it's all the same difference, doesn't matter what seller. Brand new figure in the box. I'll find somebody selling a $32 figure for $18.99 shipped. And if it says make an offer, I will not buy it. I will offer him $15. And I will wait an hour for him to respond. Because why not? It's like if you say that because you're announcing that you're willing to take less. Why would I not offer you less?
That's your personality.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's your personality, and it's because the market is flooded with 28,000 John Cenas.
Yeah.
And you're willing to wait an hour for this guy to respond.
Yeah.
Now, if this is a one of one, everybody, remember that reference, one of one.
Yeah.
None higher.
None higher in the pop. Now, if you realize that this one John Cena has a gold belt and he's a one of one, you're not going to make this guy an offer. You're going to pay the full price because he's a one of one and someone else is going to get it.
Right.
But Shane would probably still make an offer.
Again,
I like to wheel and deal. Like, I like to feel like I got a good deal.
And that's what I mean. But you need to realize sometimes that you already are getting a good deal.
Right. Well, I don't think I've ever done that with you on a single item.
No,
because I know. I know what I know. Like, I know I'm already getting a deal baked in. Like, and that's not just me saying it. I mean, I've seen it 100 times. Like, I see what you sell, and I know it goes higher everywhere else.
You can also just make a sign and just say, prices are the lowest I can go. And that's it.
Single highest graded. Yeah. So
graded.
I've seen guys like that who I don't know what they're there for. They're either hoping that somebody who doesn't know what they're doing walks in and pays the price on the sticker, 2 or 3 times a day, and it's worth it for them. But I mean, they're not looking to move product. This guy was so overpriced that I couldn't even begin to talk to him about anything. I was like, I couldn't even work him down. It's so overpriced.
You'll hear people talking to these vendors and stuff, and he'll be like, I don't need to sell any of this.
Yeah.
I don't need to sell this. I just have it up here and people can look at it, whatever. I don't need it. I mean, look at my watch.
And he didn't even have any cheap stuff on the table that it was just bringing people over and he's selling the cheap stuff. He was just standing there. But I've also seen people with bins and
So you'll get those people at the shows, right? And that's vintage, and they have nice stuff, and they know what they have, and they charge accordingly. And then you get the people that have all the Black Series figures and all the stuff you see at all these different retail stores. And then you get the people that are selling pops. And then those are your three types that I see at every convention, you know. And sometimes you'll see a comic book guy that's got a ton of comics, and then a couple figures thrown in there, and you're like, a couple of times I've gotten some pretty good deals off those guys, because those guys usually don't know too much about toys.
It's like a friend or something said, "Hey, take these with you and see if you could sell them."
And you're like, "Hey man, how much for this?" And they're like, and you'll hear them say, I don't really deal with toys a whole lot. You're like, all right, we got a deal here. Because then they're like, I'm just trying to get rid of it, or it's for my buddy. Let me call him. Hey man, this guy wants to give you $300 for this. What do you think?
Make a phone call.
The guy's like, oh, okay, that's fine, sure, whatever. And the guy's like, I just want to get rid of your man. I don't want to have to carry it back for you. All this stuff is like perfect. And that's what happens at these shows on a Sunday or the last day of the show. You'll get these people who are like, I don't want to take it home.
Right.
Therefore, what price are you comfortable paying? I've gotten that a couple of times too.
That's what John did. John sold the Ewok Village for like $25 or some like ridiculous price because he didn't want to carry it. He didn't want to bring it home.
The guy brought 5 Ewok villages in the back of a Camaro.
Yeah.
He didn't have a Camaro.
He didn't have a Camaro.
Well, the first year he had a
Hyundai Accent or something.
Yeah, that was and then Chris broke the handle.
And I broke the door handle on it.
Yeah, well, the first year he comes rumbling in on 2 tires on this Camaro, and then
2 bald tires.
The next year he comes out of a Hyundai Accent with 2 knee braces on.
That's where John's saying comes from. He's like, I'm coming in hot on 2 tires.
Yeah.
People don't realize his car legitimately only has 2 tires. It doesn't have 4.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start to wind this down. Brandon, I'm gonna go to you, and you guys can jump in as well. What other things would pop in your mind that you might be looking for looking for a toy con to have, a toy show, toy con? Anything else that you like to see there, or type of vendors, or type of, if it's more of a con, type of different interactive things, like what are you looking for to be interested in when you go to these things? I know you like panels. If it's that big of a show, you like to.
I don't like so many. To be honest with you, like the San Diego Comic-Con, I was a big fan of when, I know people are going to say this sounds really mean, but I was a big fan of when the strikes were going on, because they still had a Comic-Con, but they didn't have all the big name, like Warner Brothers wasn't there, and Sony Studios wasn't there, and all the movie stars weren't there, all the big panels weren't there, and HBO wasn't there, and it was great. You know why?
Probably like an old school con, right?
Because it was an old school con with focused on comic books and toys and some panels. It was never, half the people weren't even there. You can actually walk around. So I always love it when it's just focusing on the toys and the comic books. You have people signing autographs here and there. That's fine. Some of the celebrities that are there just to draw on people. You'll always get cons that have that just to draw on the people. But I like the cons that just focus on just what you're there for. And other people, like my wife won't even walk in there at a convention. Toys, comics, she could care less. But I'll tell you what, you get one of these movie stars walking around or having or just a chance to maybe see them, she's there.
Yeah.
And that's what draws in the other type of the crowd is that stuff. So,
yeah,
I mean, that's what I go for, is mainly just to see what there is, and maybe, catch a panel here or there that's talking about toys or movies or something like that. But I don't like the big, waiting in line for 24 hours or waiting in line for certain exclusives. Like, that just takes away from it. Like, you're there to see everything and maybe, get a couple items and maybe a couple autographs or whatever, but to wait in line, it wastes a whole day. Like, people are wasting days waiting in line and stuff. I just don't get it. To me, it seems like a waste.
Yeah, and I know you like to grab an autograph if there's somebody there that you're interested in. I mean, I've had a couple of shows, like I said, that like 2 or 3 time a year show by me. They have tables set up with people signing autographs. When I I don't want to give names or anything and embarrass anybody, but whoever the smallest name would be in Nashville, that would be by and far the number one name at this show. Like, and there's been somebody that we know that's been there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this person was on screen for like 20 seconds and they're the big name for the whole weekend. It's like, come on. But I like to go in and just see the vintage stuff, if I can. And when I say vintage, I'm talking about like 90s and earlier stuff from when I was a kid. I'd like to see the stuff from the 70s, even though that was before my time. $1 Million Man, Dukes of Hazzard was my time, but just seeing that old school stuff, those old school lunch boxes and the toys, and I just like to see it in person because I don't know that stuff. I don't ever come across it, so it's fun to see that. And then if you can find some vendors who are selling cheap modern stuff and you can get some toys for the kids, that's fun too. All right, guys, I feel like we need to get you to a toy con soon. You have no idea what we're talking about.
Brandon,
I think I'm more of a toy like store person, because for me, toy convention, I don't need to like I want to actually see toys. I don't want to see like a lady selling like bags with Star Wars labels on it.
The tchotchkes.
Like there's a stormtrooper that's like 450 pounds and his gut is hanging out. Like I don't like really like get the whole cosplay thing. It's just not. I just want to like walk in there, look for toys, and leave. Like
so everybody knows the last Toy Con we all went to, Charles was in bed for 98% of it.
Oh my gosh,
I was sick.
Guy was sick every day, and then better by dinner time every day.
He slept the most he's ever slept in his life.
I was sick. But
guy was sick, missed the whole day, and he's at the gym at 4 a.m. the next day, and then he's sick again, and then he's ready for dinner.
And then sick again.
I can see what Charles is saying, because most of these shows, it's people selling art or
it's just
handbags, or
they're selling crap,
or tchotchkes like that. I'm glad there's those, because if I had to go to a vintage toy show with 700 vendors of straight vintage, my mind would explode. So when I see a couple booths that I know I can skip, it's like relaxing. I can skip that booth.
And then sometimes it's like you see like, I don't know, like Slave Leia from afar, and then you get closer. No, actually, you look from afar and you're like, oh, there's a group of Slave Leias. Like there's like 3 or 4 of them down there. And then you get closer and you're like, oh my God, there's only one Slave Leia. Jesus, she's huge. Like it's just, I don't know.
One thing that's sticking in my mind about toy shows where there actually are, a lot of toys and vendors with toys. I've seen some that are like, they've focused like a whole table on like, I'm trying to think of what the name was. It like Mad Balls, was that a thing, right? Like,
yeah.
Like those were a little bit after my time. Like
I would rather see that though.
I think I was like getting ready to go to college when those came out, but I'm like, how could you be that into Mad Balls that's like your entire booth? Like, who's coming around buying these toys?
There's a lot of Mad Ball collectors though. Now that you say
yes,
it's weird that they actually are.
So but like my thought process is like, you're running this convention. Someone wants to like have a table. All right, what are you selling? I'm gonna make Star Wars shirts. All right, we'll get back to you. Like, throw that guy on hold. Like, maybe someone else wants to come in and sell G.I. Joe toys. Okay, like he's gonna go in your place now.
Right.
So interesting you say that, because some of these conventions, they will be very specific as to who can sell there, and you have to show them your product.
Yeah, they should.
Or you have to be known by other vendors in order to sell there. They just won't open the door for anybody.
Yeah, they should.
That's good though. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's quite a few shows over here that do that, where you have to like, hey, what are you planning on selling? You need to show us what you're selling, because if you're going to sell pops, or you're going to sell keychains or whatever paintings, like they're like, no, you can't have that.
I'm not like talking the IC, but like some of the rows, like we didn't even walk down there because like you look down and there's no toys down the entire row. So like, all right, like now you avoid that for the rest of the show.
Yeah. I mean, all I can do is think about the local shows I have, and I think it's like the opposite experience with them booking that show, because it's in a police athletic league building with 3 gymnasiums, and I think they are usually willing to take anybody who will pay for a table, and they have the room to expand into. Like, oh yeah, oh, you got a call for the table. What are they selling? Keychains? All right, we'll put them in room C. Yeah, that's good. All right, good. Keychains. Like, they just want to, fill up as much as they can. Like, that's how
we want to see toys. Like,
right,
the toy convention. It's not a shirt convention. It's not like a poster convention. Like, I know you sell that stuff and that's great, but like, if I was having a toy convention, everybody's selling toys. That's it. There's some vendors that we've seen that that fall exactly into the category you're talking about, and they sell a lot of them. Like
a lot of chafty.
I'm thinking of some of the guys who did like their own custom posters, and I'm not talking about like where we got our posters, but there's the guy who did the custom poster. Well, the posters I got my kids, he sold a ton of them, a ton. Like, he did really, really well, and it's because he's selling them at a price point where you can not have to think hard about it. Like, oh, I can get that little poster, like 11 by 14. It's like $10. You just, if you like it, just buy it and keep going. Like. So he did really well. So, but at the local shows, the guys who are selling, mass printed stuff that they didn't make, it's just stuff, that they can sell for a few bucks. Like I can't be bothered with all of that. I'm with you. All right. I think that's going to do it for our toy convention wrap up, our overview of, what we've experienced at toy shows, what we look for, what we like. Please comment below and let us know what you're looking for. Yeah.
Please, when you go to these shows, make sure you take a shower beforehand.
Oh, God.
Because there's a lot of people in a confined spot.
We already did that episode.
Please take a shower.
Yeah, and if you don't know what he means, you can go back and watch our episode, What Does the Average Star Wars Fan Look Like?
And deodorant. Please take a shower and use deodorant.
And bring a can of Axe with you if you're unsure that you're going to stay fragrant and nice the whole day.
My God, there's some people that just need to... They just need to be self-aware.
All right, very good. That's going to do it for another episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Sunday night. And please comment below. Tell us about your toy con experience. If you have a funny story or if you have something interesting that you'd like to share or add into the conversation, please do it down there. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also support the show on Patreon. The link is below. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on 5 Idiots. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take a shower. Thank you.